Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is your truly TJ Jones. I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about the NFC South. Now, as you all know, that I'm doing this show on a Sunday afternoon, and all three NFC South teams have played. We know that the New Orleans Saints played on Thursday, and after today, the NFC South is still wide open. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who lost to the Carolina Panthers in shocking fashion. A lot of people may have thought that the Carolina Panthers were just going to phone it in, just going to tank it, but they went out there and they played pretty hard, and they demolished the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then you have the Atlanta Falcons, who got straight mud stomped by the Cincinnati Bengals by a score of 35-17. And you know, of course, we know the Saints lost on Thursday. So looking at the state of the NFC South right now, you have to say that the NFC South is by far the worst division in all of football. It's terrible. It sucks. It stinks. If you're a fan of any one of these teams, I don't feel like you can hit up anybody's chat room, anybody's group, anybody's Facebook, anybody's Twitter, anybody's Instagram, and brag on your team and how superior they are to the other team. I mean, it's just as simple as that. This is straight up hot garbage that we're watching right now. I mean, I think that the thumbnail that we created here today, the dumpster fire and all four coaches in front, I think it suffice, because it seems like no team wants to win this division. And yet the Saints are dead last in the division, but yet they're one game back, right? Because you have the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3-4. And you have the Carolina Panthers along with the Saints at 2-5, but the Carolina Panthers own the tiebreaker because of a head-to-head. This is bad stuff, man. This is bad stuff. It's terrible. And, you know, I know some Saints fans, they probably excited about this. I heard people like, man, we still got a chance. But I'm just going to be honest. Like, y'all got more faith in Dennis Allen than I do. I'm going to say that again. Y'all have more faith in Dennis Allen than I do, because I don't care what the scenario is. I don't care what the issue is. I don't care how far or how close the New Orleans Saints are to actually being atop of this division. In my opinion, as long as Dennis Allen is the head coach, the Saints ain't winning a damn thing. And I like the optimism. I like the energy. But until the New Orleans Saints can show me that they can consistently win and they can consistently get out of their own way, I'm going to forever feel this way. Seriously. I mean, I'm just being real, folks. I mean, look, if you're looking for somebody that just want to blow smoke up your behind every time, you know what I'm saying, something good or some, you know, manna rain down from heaven, and you know, and it may be beneficial to the Saints, I'm sorry, man, but this is not the podcast. What have you seen from this New Orleans Saints team, whether they have their starters or not, that tells you that they have what it takes to go on a run? Besides the fact that we just got hope and optimism and we have years past. Years past, may I add, that the guy who coaches and the guy that leads at quarterback used to do that, but no longer are with the Saints organization. See, a lot of people are trying to go back in time and they want to get in their DeLorean and go back to 1955. That's fine. But this New Orleans Saints team has shown me that they are incapable of getting out of their own way. And until that actually happens, I am always going to say that the Saints don't have a damn chance. They don't have a chance in hell to win this division, regardless of how bad it is. I can make an argument to say if the Carolina Panthers continue to play defense like this and they play with passion like this, they might end up winning the division. It's just that simple. It is just bad all around. Tom Brady, my goodness. Think about this, man. You married for 10 plus years and you end up walking away from your marriage just to come back to play like Scott Mitchell, just to come back and be a mere shell of yourself. You basically you did. You sacrificed your entire marriage, being in a house with your kids. Also, you can go out here and play like Stoney Case. Also, you can go out here and play like Steve the Bird. My goodness. And then the Atlanta Falcons. You know, the Atlanta Falcon fans, they funny to me. Because when the Saints were losing to the Cincinnati Bengals last week, and we were talking about how we didn't have any help, you know, as far as the secondary, all we heard was, man, y'all making excuses, y'all making excuses, y'all making excuses. Now, all of a sudden, A.J. Terrell goes out. Man, that wouldn't have happened if we would have had our secondary intact. Boy, I tell you, boy, the narrative changed from week to week when it comes to those guys. But all I got to say is this. The division is indeed wide open. It seems like nobody wants to win this division. And technically speaking, I guess the Saints are still in it. But like I said, until they get out of their own way, I'm very skeptical about them winning this division. Now, I don't care if people get mad at me or not. I care less. If you want to sit up here and live in an alternative universe of what you have seen so far, fine. And y'all know how it goes, man. Y'all know how it goes. If I'm wrong, I'll come out here and I'll say that I'm wrong. But I'm doing this based on what I'm seeing right now. I'm sorry, man. I've had hope. Yeah, I wished and I prayed just like everybody else, and I'm like, they can turn the corner. But until this team gets out of their own way, it's going to be pretty much the same. But the division, yes, it is wide open. But like I said, the Atlanta Falcons lost to the Cincinnati Bengals 35-17. As bad as the Saints defense was, you have to say, at least they didn't get blew out like that. Joe Burrow went 34-42, 481 yards and 3 touchdowns. And somebody was saying he was padding the stats. This man had 300 yards before halftime. So if he really wanted to pad his stats, he probably would have went for 600 yards if he wanted to. But once again, that's Falcon logic for you. And then you had the Carolina Panthers, once again, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost. Tom Brady didn't throw a touchdown. Now, I will say this. I will give Tom Brady the benefit of the doubt. Mike Evans was wide open. I mean, honestly, the only coverage that was on Mike Evans was a ghost, all right? Tom Brady throws the ball down the field. It goes right through Mike Evans' hands. I mean, he was wide open. There was only 2 things out there with Mike Evans: space and opportunity. And he dropped the ball. Okay, so that would have been a touchdown for Tom Brady, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that happens. 21-3. And Tom Brady's stats lines was 32 of 49, a 45-year-old man throwing the ball almost 50 times. Not what you want to hear. 290 yards. Okay. Let me see. Leonard Fournette didn't do anything. I mean, this is supposed to be a top-notch defense. I mean, this whole division is straight up hot garbage, man. Straight up hot garbage. But I'm gonna go ahead and hear from you all. And thank you all for being here. We got 165 people in here right now. Ask that you hit the like button. It says this actually have us holding on to false hope. Not me. If you want to, I don't feel like it's people get mad at folks because they tell them the obvious, right? If you say stuff like, man, They ain't showed me nothing. And then like, well, how can you call yourself a Saints fan if you don't believe in the team? I believe what they see. If I'm telling you right now, okay, if somebody telling you that they love you, oh, I love you, baby, I love you so much. And the next thing you know, every time they tipping up out the door on you, right? But and you supposed to be like, man, well, they said they love me. They said they wanted to be with me, but they tipping out the door on you every time. I mean, come on, man. How can you make that into love? How can you really be optimistic about a team that has shown you that they forever get in their own way? I mean, you would like to see it first, right? You would like to see somebody show the love that they have for you first, right? When you want to see this thing actually play out, not the fact that you got 10 opportunities to go out there on the field. That's all you have. That out of everything that you probably can say about New Orleans Saints, the only thing that you can truly say is that they got 10 opportunities to get it right. There's nothing right now in me that can truly tell you and being 100% real with you that I trust this team. I don't. I love them. I'm going to support them. I want them to win just like everybody else. But I ain't trusting what I'm seeing right now. Can they win a division? Yes, it's wide open. All we need is 2 wins and we win in the division. You know, Flash, you make it sound so simple. And honestly, in retrospect, it is. It is. You know, like it is simple, but can they do it is the question. Saints having a dumb and dumber moment. SP, you saying there's a chance this might be the worst in the 2014 NFC South. Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. Man, do we have to talk about my Bucks looking terrible? It's not just your Bucks, T. Smitty. It's everybody. It's everybody, man. Everybody looks trash. Every last one of these teams. I mean, Carolina looked good today, but I think, honestly, I'm going to be 100% with you. I think Tampa Bay watched Chris McCaffrey get traded, hearing the reports about Brian Burns, and they just thought they was just going to go out there and beat the Bucks and win a game. I think that they truly underestimated the Carolina Panthers. I think they thought the Carolina Panthers wasn't going to be interested. They seen PJ Walker was going to start, and it was like, PJ Walker, man, that's the XFL dude, right? And they thought they were just going to go out there and straight mud walk these boys. And lo and behold, okay, you can never underestimate your opponent, especially in the National Football League. But they were looking at the press clippings, they were looking at Monday Morning Quarterback, and they thought they was about to get their stats up, and that didn't happen. So maybe they learned their lesson down the line. I watched the Bucks versus the Panthers game, and the Bucks just looked lost. Now I don't feel too bad about how our squad looked. I'm gonna be honest, like this was one of the first times, and honestly, I gotta be real. I really enjoyed today. I'll tell y'all a little bit about my day. Then we'll go forward. I woke up this morning. I got Paxton dressed, and we went to the urgent care where my wife works. Got a flu shot, right? Went to like they have this Goodwill across the street. I went and go check that out. I like going to a Goodwill. Don't judge me. I just like doing that stuff. It kind of gives me them nostalgia vibes from when I used to ride around on Saturdays with my grandmother. So we went up in there, stopped and got a little something to eat, went to the grocery store, came back and watched NFL Red Zone. And I was able to watch a lot of these games, man. And I got to tell you, across the board, they got some trash out here. Like, seriously, they got some trash quarterback play, some bad football teams. A lot of the times, I think, honestly, you know why I really think people are really optimistic? And I'm going to tell you why. Because they probably did the same thing I did today, watching the Red Zone channel and watching like some of these teams just go out there and just look straight up hot garbage, fumbling the football, throwing picks. I couldn't tell you how Taylor Heineke and the Commanders beat the Green Bay Packers today. I mean, I want to say Taylor Heineke fumbled the ball. They picked it up. They ran in for a touchdown, but it was a holding call that brought it back. Then I think he threw a pick six, and they brought that back. So that was like 14 points that they took off the board, and they end up winning. The Commanders beat the Packers, right? And for a while, you had the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had the lead over the Giants. And the Giants wide receivers, like the Saints wide receivers, for some apparent reason, can't catch the ball. Like Daniel Jones was out there cussing, talking about catching an effing ball. But I think you needed to see this. And I think a lot of Saints fans saw this and they were like, hey, like, man, maybe our team ain't so bad. Maybe they aren't so bad. I mean, you have bad quarterback play everywhere. So how bad is Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston if you mix them all together with everything else in the league? Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys beat the Lions today, but Dak Prescott looked like slaw. That defense of the Dallas Cowboys are legit. That's what's going to get them to where they need to be. Bad as the NFC is, it sounds crazy, but the Cowboys might end up being there in the end based on that defense and based on their running game. But Dak Prescott didn't do anything. Who else? Aaron Rodgers. He didn't do anything. Aaron Rodgers, they had a total of 7 points offensively. The Green Bay Packers had a total of 7 points offensively through 3 quarters. And then Aaron Rodgers did what Aaron Rodgers does. He rolled out, and I mean, he hit Aaron Jones on a rope when he was on a run. That was a really good pass, right? And they were able to get a touchdown a little bit late, but Aaron Rodgers been looking like, for all the time catching up with him. Matt Ryan threw a pick 6 and an interception, almost fumbled the football. I mean, he looked like he washed. I mean, if you look around the National Football League, you got to be pretty optimistic because there's not many quarterbacks playing at an elite level. I mean, of course, you have your Joe Burrows, you got your Josh Allens, you got your Pat Mahomes, you got guys like that. But for the most part, everybody quarterback looking pretty bad these days. Everybody wondering, man, who is my next quarterback? Even the stars, even the legends looking like slow. So today, I can understand why people are coming to me like, man, we have a chance. We got a chance because based on what you're seeing out of the NFC and the quarterback play across the board, across the NFL, I mean, it's pretty bad. And I think sometimes, like, when we're so focused on one particular team, we feel like it's only happening to us, right? That's kind of how it works. As a parent, I remember, we was raised in Paxton and still are. But, say some things that we go through and we feel like we're the only ones going through it. And then we have conversations with parents that have kids his age and they talk about the same thing. Like, I just thought it was me. But it's the whole entire NFL for the most part. Whole NFC South living paycheck to paycheck. The Buck body language just look like they are just going through the motions. I agree. TJ, you 3 weeks late about that. I've been in a group chats bragging. TJ, question: the running back wide receiver acquired half a week ago. Why isn't Coach Allen playing this kid? Are we talking about Rashid Shaheed here? Or are we talking about somebody else? I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, we talking about the NFC South. What you think about them? You think the NFC South trash? Trash? Oh yeah, okay. Paxton say they trash, so they must be trash. Say trash. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they pretty trash, man. They pretty trash, buddy. But the Saints only one game out. You think the Saints can win the division? You think so? Would you say yep? Oh, okay. I don't think Siri know the answer to that. I'm sorry, buddy. Let's see. Brian says, I just saw Tampa Bay Buccaneers podcast. They said, why don't we trade for Sean Payton? Give 2 first-round picks to the New Orleans Saints for Sean Payton. I'll be shocked and amazed if any team in NFC South, other than the Saints, end up getting Sean Payton. We aren't going to win unless our defense starts playing well, especially with no good quarterback. Exactly. See, that's the thing about it. Like, these teams are bad, but they have good defenses. Like I mentioned, the Dallas Cowboys, like, they run the football mediocre to bottom of the barrel quarterback play, but they playing lights out defense. Even with Tampa. You know what I'm saying? Even Tampa, like, as bad as Tom Brady playing right now, I mean, they still got a good defense. Most of the teams that's struggling, they have good defenses. The Saints do not. The Saints don't have a good defense. They get giving up big old chunk plays. Guys are disinterested. They're not tackling. Like, I'm just wondering to myself, like, how is it that anybody can just feel very comfortable and confident that this team can turn it around? What have you seen? What have you seen, man? Like, seriously. You're like 7 weeks into the season. Normally, normally when you're like 7 weeks into the season, you're seeing certain things that keep on coming up. Eventually, that's just the identity of the team. So I don't know. The Saints will not fire him in the middle of the season. Yeah, the Saints, look, the Saints are not firing Dennis Allen. Okay, they're like, bruh, strap in. Okay, Six Flags, like on the airline, strap in, because he's not going anywhere at least to the end of the season. So everybody up here talking about, man, you need to go. I feel like he needs to go, but I'm not expecting for them to just, come out tomorrow and be like they fired Dennis Allen. It's not happening, folks. It's not happening. Man, if this dude's still the coach next season, that's when we're gonna start having problems. If the team continues to do what they're doing right now and he's still a head coach, I'm going to question the front office, because it comes a time when you have to put your ego to the side and realize it just ain't working. If it didn't work in Oakland and you're struggling, right, and you have a better infrastructure, a better team, right, you got better coaches, and yet you still can't find yourself winning football games, I'm sorry, it's you. Once again, let's go back to the relationship aspect. If you can't keep a relationship going, maybe you have to look at yourself. You got to look at yourself, right? Hey, man, look, man, I'm trying. I'm doing everything I possibly can. What's the one common denominator? It's you. It's rather your selection or it's just rather your personality or something. You have to look at you. If they're not looking at Dennis Allen based on what happened in Oakland, based on what's happening right now, then they're inept. For real. Like, seriously. And as a fan base, we should let them hear it. Because, man, you can't make too many excuses. I'm tired of making excuses for this dude. Like, seriously. TJ, I have faith in our veterans, not cleanup man. Look, I have absolutely no faith in cleanup man. I have no faith in that dude, man. None. Terry says, but we don't get beat like that is true, Terry. That is true. Like last week, it came down to a last minute 60+ yard touchdown by Jamar Chase. Seen he was kind of limp in that game, but he came back in. Hopefully everything all right with him. But it did come down to the last second, right? So they did have a really good game plan against the Cincinnati Bengals. And to me, I feel like that game Thursday, it looked like it was close, but that game wasn't close. They were able to make it look respectable, but it wasn't even that close. It was a lot of garbage time. You see, I want people to understand this, and I want y'all to understand. I know some people like, man, well, the Saints, at least they won. They lost by 8. At least they lost by 3. Look, here's the reality. If a team is beating you by, let's just say, 14 points late in the fourth quarter, they changing their whole defensive plan. If they were starting off playing you man coverage and blitzing all day and all night, right? They're going to start playing soft defense, right? They're going to start playing zone, or they're going to start playing prevent, right? They're going to protect the sidelines, and they're going to allow you to nickel and dime it up the middle, and maybe they'll bend but don't break in the red zone situation and probably cause you to kick field goals, or when you try to go for it, probably try to shut down then. So a lot of those yards, to me, what the Saints have are empty calorie yards. A lot of the touchdowns that they have are garbage touchdowns. Honestly, I don't really respect that. Like, we can talk about Andy Dalton throwing 4 touchdowns and 361 yards, but they start playing soft coverage. So I think when you start looking around the late third quarter and you start seeing a team, down by 20, down by 16, I think you got to start looking at like the defense that these guys are calling. It's soft defense. So of course, if you any type of quarterback, you can be able to work the middle. Pause. You got to be able to throw some passes up the middle. Not avoid the sidelines. So hey, I don't have a lot of respect for those empty calorie yards, man. So a lot of these games, I just feel like the Saints be getting beat, but in reality, it's like it'd be empty calorie yards. Roger, thank you very much for the $40. Say, hey TJ, it was a guy who posted a video last night disagreeing with you about DA. He said we should give DA a few more years now. He did not bash your podcast. He said you have one of the best pod. Yeah, that was Josh, man. And shouts out to Josh. Look, I want to make this very clear. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. Look, man, I'm not out here trying, like, even if a person disagrees with me, and even if they, you know what I'm saying, disrespectful about it. I can care less. Anyway, a person wants to get in front of a camera or behind a microphone and wants to express themselves, I'm all for it. Like, because at the end of the day, I don't take any of this stuff personal. Because what I'm doing right now is giving my opinion, right? Now, if a person wants to, take it to that particular spot, then fine. Or if somebody wants to disagree with me, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not so emotional to a point where I just allow my emotions to get the best of me if somebody has something to say. I mean, if you disagree with me, that's fine. I don't care. If you want to make a video about that, that's fine too. I mean, that's what this is all about. See, this is not a TJ is right forum here. Like, this is a forum where if we're having a conversation, you got different viewpoints from different people. Like, I may be saying something right now somebody just totally disagrees with, and that's fine. And if they have like podcasts and they want to talk about it, that's fine too. Like, at the end of the day, everybody has something to say. From everybody that may not have put together a podcast or people that's in this group right now, everybody has something to say. And who am I to try to take that away from somebody? Any way that you want to approach it. Like I say, even if it's something that's insulting. Because, I mean, if you're insulting me, you really don't know me. So why would I take it personal? So that's the way I feel about it. But yeah, that's Josh. And, he has a right to believe that. If he feels like, Dennis Allen needs to, like, to have a few years, I mean, that's his opinion. Me personally, I feel like what you see is what you get. But I'm all for people having a point of view, rather it's for me or against what I'm saying. That's all. I ain't one of them people that just take my opinions so personal to a point where I just feel like, my word is just bond, like it's gospel or something like that. Like, if you disagree with what I'm saying, like, if you listen to me right now and say, man, TJ, you tripping, man, I don't know about that. Like, it was like a couple shows ago, I was talking about Mark Ingram, and I made the comment about Mark Ingram. I feel like Mark Ingram was the best running back that Saints ever had until Alvin Kamara finished his career. Some people like, man, you tripping, man. What about Deuce McAllister? And that's fair, right? So I don't take any of that stuff personal. I just want to make that very, very clear. So when people like come to me, and I know why y'all doing it, because y'all have respect for me, and I appreciate that. But people talking about me is not something that affects me or bothers me at all. What affects me and bothers me is if a person is not having a fun time when they check out the State of the Saints podcast. What bothers me if a person is not having a pleasant listening or viewing experience. That bothers me. Not what somebody's saying about me or talking about how I look or talking about what, I'm saying? So my opinions and takes, like, who cares? So that's just the way I look at it, man. We all are different people. We all have different opinions. Sometimes we may share opinions, but we're all different. So I appreciate it, but yeah, I mean, that's his opinion. I agree with you, TJ. DA is lost on the sidelines. Yeah, man. I mean, to me, he just doesn't look like he has it. And shouts out to my guy Matt Moscone. Shouts out to Scone. He said this. He said some coaches are generals and some coaches are lieutenants. And he's like, and Dennis Allen is a lieutenant. I agree. I agree with that, man. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Look, there's somebody that's in the military right now watching this, and shouts out to you, rather you're active or you're a veteran. Thank you for your service. But I'm pretty sure you're pretty damn happy being a lieutenant. You know what I'm saying? The lieutenant package is pretty good, man. You maybe get a good little house, nice car. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing wrong with being a lieutenant, right? Like, shoot, you ain't gotta be a general. You ain't gotta show up on CBS News when the special report come through, right? But you still got a good career being a lieutenant. I agree. Like, I just feel like some guys are just born to lead, and then you got some guys that are born to be a leader in certain ways, but not the leader. Dennis Allen is not a head coach. He's a defensive coordinator. Kim, I agree with that. That's my whole point. Let's see. Yep. But better late than never. Glad you are here. Shouts out to Barbara for being here. Thank you. The head coaching job is too big for DA. I'm starting to believe that, Barbara. Giving a shout out to my dog. Says, all I know is we still alive. And Kim, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I said, man, don't let my view like affect how you feel. I want people to understand that. Like, if I say, like, to me, I'm pessimistic right now. I'm serious. Like, I'm skeptical about the team because of what I saw. It's okay for you to be like, man, I still got hope because they still have a chance and maybe they'll get it turned around. Seem like our offense is starting to find itself. You get Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry back. Maybe they'll be back for the Las Vegas game. Who knows? Maybe we can go ahead and make a run out of this, maybe win more games so we can lose and see where we go. There's nothing wrong with that. But all I'm saying is I got to see it. I got to see it, man. I got to see it to believe it. How much years do you think Mike T has left, TJ? Not much. He's hitting his 30s. Jameis Winston in his 30s. He really on a rebuilding stage after Drew Brees. Ramsey, I have to correct you a little bit, man. Michael Thomas is almost 30, but Jameis Winston, I want to say Jameis Winston, 28? So I guess if you're talking about almost close to that with Jameis Winston, I agree with you on that. But look, you stuck with Michael Thomas for a while, man. You stuck with Michael Thomas for a while because if you trade him between now and next year, you taking a hellified cap hit. So for all the people out there that's talking about trading Michael Thomas, number one, it's going to cost you a whole bunch of money. I want to say over $25 million, if I'm not mistaken. You'll take that as a cap hit. And not to mention, what the hell are you going to get for him at this time? Like, what are you going to get? Like a guy that hasn't really played any productive football for almost 2 years. And yes, in 2019, he was the offensive player of the year. Yeah, but that seemed like that was eons ago. So no team is going to be giving you a second or a third round pick for a guy who had just been out here like that. I don't know how the Carolina Panthers did it with Christian McCaffrey, but that's another story for another day. All I know is teams ain't lining up trying to get a guy and trade for a guy that hasn't really played productive football and I don't know how long. He was trying to tell you go for the record or something. Let's see. I should have bashed you, TJ. That way we could have manufactured a feud and made some money off YouTube. Well, look, you wouldn't have made money off me, Josh. Because look, I'm not in the beefing business. Okay. I'm not in the beefing business. Okay. That's just not me. I mean, I don't feel like this is personal. Like, if you ain't trying to kick over my dough, trying to do nothing to my family, I ain't got no beef with you. I ain't got no problem. If you touching my wife, you touching my son, then we got a problem. Touching anybody in my family, we got a problem. But talking about opinions and points of views about sports, I find that laughable that people would like want to go at somebody's head because of their takes about that. If anything, if you're mad at me, you're mad at my confidence. You know, like that's just ridiculous, man. You know, like because everybody's point of view is different. But nah, I ain't beefing with nobody. I don't have a problem with nobody. I don't care what you said about me. I got love for everybody. I want to see everybody prospering. I don't care if you're building a podcast, and I don't care what's going on. I got love for everybody. Don't get that serious from me. TJ, who you cursing out today? I'm not cursing out anybody. Not anybody. All positive vibes here, man. For real. Salute, TJ. Yeah, our division looks awful thus far. But I'm glad those Falcons and Bucks lost today. It was difficult here in Atlanta last week when they beat the 49ers. Well, you know, I mean, their emotions from week to week, 504 Bulls. So if they win next week, they'll be talking about they're going to the Super Bowl and we nothing. You know, it's just what the Falcons are, a bunch of grandstanders. Now, shouts out to all the ones that's real. They got a few out there that ain't grandstanders, but for the most part, the ones that I see are a bunch of grandstanders, and I look no further than the game that I went to when the Saints played the Falcons in week 1. I was sitting next to some guys, and it was halftime, and of course, you know that the Falcons were beating the Saints pretty big, and the guy was like, man, you all right? You all right? And I'm like, man, the game ain't over. And he just kind of, you know, tisk at me like, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, as the Saints start to facilitate the comeback, I started to notice, like, first he was like 2 rows in front of me, And then by the end of the game, he was 2 rows behind me. And I was like, why do you do that? So he was trying to get up out that thing. So I called him at the end, and he then went on to tell me that he's not even a Falcon fan. He's a Patriot fan, which I found hilarious. Like, you was a Falcon fan all day and night because y'all was winning. Then all of a sudden, when the Saints win, it's like you just completely switch teams. Like, I just found that weird, but that's just the way that they are. So not all of them, but quite a few. Everyone doesn't have to agree, but the fact is it's not over for any team until it's actually over. Kim, you're absolutely right. It is, technically, but like I said, based on what I've seen, Kim, it's hard for me to get behind a team that can't get out their own way. I just have to see it, and I would be glad. I would be glad to say that I was wrong. I'm serious. I would be glad to say I was wrong if the Saints can turn this thing around. But I'm not going to sit up. I can't. I'm sorry. I cannot sit up here and be a victim of Stockholm syndrome. I just can't. Man. Look, I'm not from St. Louis, but you got to show me, okay? You got to show me that you about that life. You got to show me that you're capable of winning games. You got to show me that you are capable of getting out of your own way. And then we can have a conversation. And I don't even feel like that's grandstanding. I don't feel like that's bandwagon hopping or anything. That's just when anything in life. Like, you can still love somebody. You can still love something and want to see that particular thing change or try to, some things that you want to see improve. That's just what it is. Like, I love this team. Like, man, I've been a Saints fan as long as probably some of y'all been alive. I love this team. But I want what's best for the team. But at the same time, I'm not going to just go out here and preach something that I have not seen. That's just how it works. But yes, technically they still in it, but they gotta show us something. Wouldn't you agree with that, Kim? Don't you feel like they have to show us something? Yeah, thank you for correcting me, TJ, for the Jameis Winston correct age, but we're definitely in a rebuilding stage. Just my opinion. We're going to get there. We're making room for a new team. Well, look, I think that there's still a chance. I don't think that the Saints are completely buried. I think there's some positions that they need to improve on, maybe get a little bit younger. The quarterback position, I don't know. If this thing don't pan out once again, man, I am going to continue to lobby for Tyler Huntley. Because if you're not going to get a first round pick, not going to get a good, franchise quarterback in the draft in the first round, then I say get a guy like Tyler Huntley. I think you can win with that. Okay, so that guy's a gamer. He's a gamer. He makes really good decisions, and he's kind of just wasting away behind Lamar Jackson, if you ask me. If the Baltimore Ravens were to trade this dude to a team that was formidable, like, let's just say, I don't know, if Minnesota, like if Kirk Cousins went down in Minnesota or something, right? And Minnesota made a trade for Tyler Huntley, I think that Minnesota can make a deep run in the playoff. Like, that's how much respect I have for that dude. I hear a lot of people saying, let Pete Carmichael be the head coach. But I honestly feel he's no different. He don't strike me as a guy who will get in players' faces either. Chosen, I definitely agree with that. I just don't think that's in Pete Carmichael's DNA. I think Pete Carmichael likes to be a part of player personnel. I don't think he wants to be the front guy. I don't. Even the decision for him to be the offensive coordinator, he was very passive in the beginning, which I feel like that was a mistake in itself, because if a guy isn't completely dialed in already, I just think that you need to go in another direction. Like, he could have still been a part of the Saints player personnel, and who knows, a different set of eyes that don't think, that don't look, like a Sean Payton offense coming in, maybe changing some things around, along with Pete Carmichael with a different set of eyes, knowing the old classic New Orleans Saints philosophy. You put that together, you probably have a formidable offense at the beginning of the season. So I just think that the Saints just tried too hard, in my opinion, of trying to keep this thing together, in spite even guys wanting to maybe do something completely different. But what's going to happen is, based on what you actually built, you're basically allowing the fan base to kind of be sour on it. And then these guys are probably going to go somewhere else, probably with Sean Payton when he gets hired. So Sean Payton, based on what the New Orleans Saints are looking like right now, Sean Payton can restructure the New Orleans Saints on the West Coast if he was to coach the Arizona Cardinals or the Chargers, right? Or if he was to go to the Midwest and coach the Detroit Lions, right? Because I mean, Dan Campbell, I like the rah-rah stuff, the energy and all that kind of stuff, but he ain't keeping his job, right? He ain't keeping his job. But you know, like what you did was set up this team and these coaching staff to probably move when Sean Payton moves. And if Sean Payton thought about this in his mind, he's a genius. Like seriously, he's a genius. Molly G says he can't trade none of our core players. That's what's kicking the can down the road brings. Mike T won't be able to be traded until 2024-2025 season. Exactly. Because of how the contracts are structured. Mike Marshall, AK Ramchek, locked up for a long time and a lot of money. Yep. Those are your core players right there. So you got to make this thing work. We can't be in a rebuilding stage with no cap space. What you need to do, Joey, what you need to do is you need to find a way to, well, it's going to be hard to do this. I don't feel like you probably going to have to go through 20, 25 drafts for you to be able to replicate what happened in 2017. That was catching lightning in a bottle. But you're going to have to get something relatively close to that to rebuild this team, because you can bring in some young players and combine them with the veterans. Like right now, like Chris Olave and Michael Thomas, that's a good 1-2 punch. Wouldn't you agree? You know, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Nope. That's the last one. Come up here with a third. No, sir. No more snack cakes. Thank you very much. But anyway, what you have is a young Pete Warner and a older Demario Davis, right? So you have a young combined with the old. So I just think that you need to be able to get close to what you did in 2017. And you need to you don't need to gamble. Like I feel like what happened with the New Orleans Saints in 2018, in 2019, and 2020 were they gambled. In 2018, they drafted Marcus Davenport. In 2019, you know, like, no, I mean, like, basically what they did was every single time, like they were gambling with guys that had injury history, guys that come from smaller schools. I just think that you need to start going with a sure thing. You were excited about Chris Olave getting drafted because you knew he was more than likely a sure thing. Jesus, thank you very much for the $2. Says, so you won't preach what you ain't seen. Pretty much. I gotta see it. I gotta feel it. All right. I gotta know it's there. TJ, if we need to draft a young quarterback, who would you pick? Who would I pick? The quarterback out of Tennessee. That's but I'm pretty sure he won't be there. Like I think it's almost like how Joe Burrow was, right? I think that's kind of what he is. You know, like, you know how Joe Burrow, his junior year, he played okay, and then all of a sudden he had that magical year, and it's like he went from like being a third round pick to the first pick overall. I feel like that's what, you know, I think that's what Hebron gonna end up being. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that it's gonna be something like that. But that would be the guy that I would pick. You know, Bryce Young, I think he's a good quarterback, but he's a little bit too small for me. CJ Stroud got a good upside, but I don't know, man. Like, it's gonna be a while. You know, it's gonna be a while for him. I don't think he's gonna hit the ground running. I just don't. You know, but like I said, at the end of the day, if you not very comfortable with the quarterbacks in this draft, like I say, you can always get a guy like Tyler Huntley. Pac-Man with the snack attack. Yeah, Pac-Man, like he wants to come up in here, like he keep on coming up in here with snack cakes. And for some apparent reason, he think I can't multitask. So he knows when to come up in here, right? He know when I'm talking. he thinks that I'm just so focused on it that I can't be daddy and podcast at the same time. But he's sadly mistaken. Okay, we got this thing down packed. Okay, we not a rookie in this thing no more. We 3 years into the game, and yeah, we know how to multitask. We need to keep this chat clean, peeps. Yeah, man, try to keep it clean as you can. Let's try to not to go for the extreme swear words. Everybody, use a hell or a damn every now and then, but let's try to keep it clean. I think we start getting healthier, we'll start winning. Joe, I hope you're right. TJ, I've heard this quarterback class is going to be deep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be. There's always guys that are going to be out there at the forefront because they play in the power conferences, but there's always some guys that's going to be, flying under the radar. So we'll see. We'll see. One mock draft has us picking the quarterback from Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then that'll be great. But I don't know. Based on how he playing, like he is not going to be he is not going to be there when the Saints pick. And I can tell y'all that right now. I can tell you that right now. He is not going to be there when the Saints are picking. That just, I don't see it. Like I think at the beginning of the season, people were like, what he was going to do. They weren't too sure, but this man has Tennessee like going crazy right now. They got him going crazy, and maybe the only team I can see them losing to is Georgia. I mean, Hendon, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the way I look at it, if Hendon Hooker continues to play the way that he has been playing, then he'll be a first pick overall. Peyton Turner has turned out to be a complete bust. He can't stay on the field, and that was a mistake. That was a mistake because the dude was hurt in college, and yet you get him in the pros and you think that it's going to change. All of a sudden he get drafted, and all of a sudden he's going to be a clean bill of health. Like, give me a break. Give me a freaking break. That ain't happening. Let's see. You think he trade bait? Who we talking about here? We talking about Davenport? I heard his name mentioned by Adam Schefter, but I don't know how true that is. I think he was more like spitballing something off the, spitballing, throwing it on the wall, seeing if it sticks. I think that was kind of what it was. We need Ian Book back for what? What we need him back for?
Hell no, to the no, hell to the no.
Now he go where he at. TJ, there aren't many teams looking for a franchise quarterback right now. Yep. And that's the reason why I say a guy like, Tyler Huntley would be a good pick. And Brandon Ayuk made God, the Niners are good. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk has improved. He was having a little bit of a struggle. People were kind of, having little whispers about him, but he's pretty good. At the end of the day, it's up to the guys in the locker room to decide. Hold on 1 second. You come here with this tablet? All right. I don't think everybody want to know the answer marching 2 by 2. At the end of the day, it's up to the guys in the locker room to decide how they want to finish the season. We can either go on the street or keep losing, but we still have a chance to right the ship. Yeah, and they still got time to right the ship, but I mean, I know people was getting all excited about Alvin Kamara standing up in the locker room, but I really had to think, when the last time like you had like a rah-rah or a team-only meeting and it just turned out that it just turned the whole season around? I mean, I think there's only one time I ever actually seen that, and it was when Julius and Gary Bertia stood up when TC Williams Titans, when they went on the camp and then they got back to school and, they had that little speech, we was good at camp. Now, when we get back here, the world tells us that we can't be together. That's the only team I ever seen have a team-only meeting, and they go undefeated after that. I ain't seen it, folks. I ain't seen it. So, I don't know. Like, it's going to take these guys to really stand up and really, truly look at themselves in a mirror. Not so much of not as a cliche, but actually look at themselves in the mirror and do some reflecting. Hey TJ, Tulane 7-1, and LSU is 6-2. Will be in the top 25 at the great win and control their own destiny. And the Pelicans undefeated, and it looks awesome. Yep. Now, if only these Saints can do something, right? Olave is rookie of the year. He runs route like a vet. Can Rams please move over to the left tackle spot? I don't know if that's gonna happen, man. And then on top of that, you might see your boy Trevor Penning, if not this week coming, but the next one. So there's no need to, because he coming back. TJ, by any means necessary, we need to find a way to get back to that first round. Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to do that. Let's see. Just noticed something, TJ. As of now, we don't have a first round pick. So does that mean we don't have a draft night show podcast? Oh no, that don't mean nothing. Nah, we still having one. Still having one regardless. If we don't make any trades for the first round. They still gonna have a draft show. That's not gonna affect anything. I have those draft shows, we have them draft shows just based on just because I like football. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the Saints, but I love football too. So, I mean, just like right now, I mean, today is Sunday, the Saints didn't play, but we having a show. So, look, if we, we gonna have a draft show, and it's gonna get better and better because, man, I'm gonna try to, now that it's becoming an annual event, I'm about to start getting guests on the show and stuff like that, man. We really gonna start having a good time. I'm gonna start like requesting guests in advance. Hurt in college, IR in the pros. Pretty much. Tennessee is the 2019 LSU Tigers. That is the truth. That's Peyton Turner. We need to get some defensive line help. Yes. That's the one thing that did bother me today too, Slim South. I'm watching these games, man. I'm watching third string, fourth string defensive ends get pressure on these quarterbacks and getting them down on the ground. Yet I'm looking at a guy like Davenport, he's getting the hurries, but I mean, he has like no sack moves, no spin move. Like, it basically just straight bull rush all day, all night, right? And it's just sad to watch like some of these other guys in the league just have more sacks than a guy that's a first round pick. This dude said we need Ian Book back. Yeah, I know that had to be a joke. Olave is him. Yeah, he definitely been him for weeks. Keen Arthur, I don't know if we got any tradable players, the ones who are good. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to use. I think you're probably gonna have to use some draft picks, man. And I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it happening. I like, the thing about it is, Keen Arthur, to me, there's not one person that they can draft that can come in and that can save this team, right? Because to me, you look around the landscape of the team. I mean, you expect for the guys that's out there to be able to make plays. We've seen these guys play on a high level in the past. It just seems like to me like you have a bunch of guys out there that just comfortable. You don't really see too many hungry players out there. They're not hungry anymore because they got these big contracts. So now they can kind of rest up, lay in the shade, roll into the facility. I got my Porsche, I got my Bentley GT, I'm saying? I got the Bentley truck, I'm saying? I'm getting out of the bed out these silk sheets, I'm saying? I'm opening up this window, I'm saying? I'm seeing a bomb skyscraper, I'm saying? Good landscape, all this stuff, man. Like, a lot of these guys got too comfortable in their position. And I just feel like, even though Dennis Allen was talking about competition in preseason and in the offseason, I just feel like that was just a bunch of baloney, especially since we've been watching his press conferences. It just seemed like, to me, he basically just kind of rinse and repeat. It's almost like a person practicing their lines for the big play that's coming up for the school. It's kind of like that, right? So I don't know how stiff competition actually was. I don't know if guys were actually competing, because think about this. He was talking about it was supposed to be competitive and all this kind of stuff there. Somebody please tell me who ended up winning their position based on competition. How many Saints players that right now went into the season and started week 1 that you were like, dang, I didn't think he was going to start? How many? Maybe one, maybe Justin Evans. That's about it. How many guys you seen at any other side of the ball? Like we seen guys like Chase Hansen show promise, right? We seen guys like Taco Charlton get a sack. We seen guys, you know what I'm saying, playing, but it was pretty much the same guys. So all this practicing, all this competition, all this competing, it meant absolutely nothing because they basically went into the season with the same guys that we all knew they was going to start with. So it just sounded like a bunch of nonsense to me. I mean, I don't know. If he's looking weak this year, imagine what the next 2 years are going to be. That's pretty much how I feel about it. Jared Goff or Andy Dalton. I'll roll with Jared Goff. And it looks to me, based on like how the Lions look, they might be picking top 1, top 2 again. And if that's the case, they're going to get a quarterback this time. TJ, players are supposed to be an extension of the coach. We need our leaders in the locker room to do what DA apparently can't do so far, and that's galvanize these guys. Yeah, I look. If you're looking for hope, if you're looking for passion, you're looking for intensity. Look, if you're looking at Dennis Allen, you're looking at the wrong guy, right? If you're trying to look at somebody that's gonna motivate you and push you to levels you didn't even realize you had, he's not the guy. I don't think this dude can motivate. I don't think this dude can motivate a gas into a car. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. At a gas station. They play like they're playing backyard football. Nah, I can't even say that because when I play backyard football, I have fun. You don't even look like they're having fun out there. It just look like they just obligated to do it. This Thursday game, it just like their whole body language, like, man, let's just get this over with. They played like they had their bags packed for the last game of the season. Is right. Smash that like button. Yeah, if you enjoy the show, we got 254 people watching this right now. Please hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. He tore his ACL out for the season. Who tore the ACL? Who tore it? Who we talking about here, man? It's not Tyron. That man can do everything. It's Dennis Allen, not him. Cam Jordan, Demario Davis are the only leaders, and their agent. They can't do it all. Well, I mean, they still playing at a high level. I mean, Demario Davis still playing pretty well. I mean, and you have Cameron Jordan. I mean, he's still out there leading the team in sacks. TJ, this fits the Saints perfect. Coach Jimmy Johnson once said, it's not about how many good players you make. It's all about how many bad plays you don't make, and that will win you games or lose them. Yeah, pretty much, DA. Hopefully it's not the DA we know because I know he ain't following these instructions. But thank you, DA. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, man. If you're making bad plays, no matter who you got on the team, you're going to be losing. So they got to be able to get out of their own way. I hate to keep on saying that, but that's what it all comes down to. The Saints facilities, let's see, should be spotless this week. Whatever mojo the Saints had, the Pelicans must have took it. Well, it's good to see the Pelicans, being able to be, front and center. Damn, I didn't. No Smoke got hurt. Let's see. Bad safety play. He's hurt the season. He hurt the Saints all season long. I personally think outside of the missed tackle, Honey Badger has been decent. You kind of the last line of defense, King Arthur. So that's almost like almost saying like, I think outside of the passing, I think Andy Dalton pretty good at quarterback. Like it's kind of something like that. Or Jameis Winston, he's a decent quarterback. It's kind of like what he does. He's supposed to tackle. He's the last line of defense. You get past that cornerback, they're looking for that safety to be able to make that tackle. And he's not been doing it. And that's not a good trait, especially you being a safety and the last line of defense. This is a good time for the Saints to get healthy. I think Michael Thomas and Landry and Lattimore, then we healthy. Giving a shout out to Jerry. TJ, did you see my video? Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I saw it this morning. Man. Good stuff. And watched a couple more of your videos that you had, man. Good stuff over there. Make sure you plug your YouTube channel so people can subscribe. Good stuff, man. It's not just about football. It's about life as well. So y'all make sure y'all support Josh and his YouTube channel. Let's see. Tyrann Mathieu needs to be traded. Diedrich. Let's see. Is Gail low key trying to sell the Saints to San Antonio by hiring D? I don't think so, man. Look, they already made a deal, so the Saints are here for the foreseeable future. So that's not happening. And also, I think it's in the will of Tom Benson or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Like it's something where he got to keep the team here. So that's not the case. They just bad. Where is Malcolm Roach? Malcolm Roach, I think this his first game back off injury. So he'd been on injury reserve to start the season, but now he's back. So maybe, it kind of he had to work his way back into some football shape. I look at Davenport too, man. I think the injury with Davenport that he had, he seemed like he gained a little bit of weight. Maybe because, he had that shoulder injury and he wasn't able to work out and stuff like that. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Shy Tuttle is acting too bashful in the trenches. Old boy needs to get back on them PEDs for real. Y'all don't care. Forget about it. Forget about it. There's a chance he can kill himself. Let's go out there and play. They need to trade Roby. Roby is hurt, and Roby is a nickel when Adebo and Lattimore out there. So he's a good nickel. And he's a good outside guy too, man. He's not he ain't shut down, locked down, but how many guys are shut down, locked down, right? Even the guys that are shut down, lockdown get posterized. Like y'all didn't see that. Y'all didn't see that pass by Taylor Heineke to Terry McLaurin? That was on Jair Alexander. And Jair Alexander supposed to be top 2, top 3 corner in the league. So it happens. It happens to the best. So what you think happened with not so great guys? The Joker Saint says offense breakdown, defense breakdown, turnover, mental mistakes, poor tackling, no passion, no urgency. 2-5 is expected. DA should be going by the end of the year. I agree. Based on what I'm seeing right now, I don't see a man keeping his job. If he's keeping his job, it's just because of the arrogance of the GM. Our division is trash. I think we can still turn the corner. Jigga, that's a good optimism. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to Kim. Everybody that's talking about this from an optimistic standpoint. Look, I have nothing but respect for all y'all, because that's the way that y'all feel. But I'm just not seeing it, Jigga. I'm just not seeing it, man. Like, I need to see this thing actually come together. I need to see that this team can win 2 games. When the last time the Saints won 2 games in a row? What is it, like 2020 or something like that? They haven't won 2 games in a row in a hot minute, man. And all I'm saying is, man, I need to see this thing happen before I be like, okay, they can do it. They got to show me that they're capable of doing it. They got to show me that they're capable of making the right moves and eliminating some of these things that's getting them beat every single week. At this point, when it comes to the Saints, hope, passion, and fate are just 3 girls in high school who are best friends. Exactly. That's what I always say, back in the day, right? Hope and fate were just 2 girls that you knew down the street, right? But it looked like, they hope and fate had kids and, not even had passion. And optimistic, what I'm saying? Optimism, I should say. They'd have had them 2 kids, but I ain't seeing it. TJ, these pick sixes were the difference in the game. Exactly. Smoke, okay. Talking about Smoke Monday, okay. He's playing, but missing in action like the rest of our D-line. I was talking about Smoke Monday. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Smoke Monday. Well, he probably get a chance next year. Who knows? Nah, I doubt it. I remember hearing she got it set up for the Saints to stay in New Orleans forever, long after the team will go to the city like Packers with theirs. Okay. Well, stop that. All right. Let's see. These defenses is taking me back to the we're taking you back to the 2014, 2015 Saints. Let's see. If Jameis gets 200 plus yards rushing, he won't lose the game, period. Seems like Traquan Smith is 2 good catches a week and he's hurt. Well, he's been dealing with that shoulder injury, man. He dislocated his shoulder. in that preseason game. Like if you seen that catch that he made, and then all of a sudden he landed really bad on his shoulder, and he's been playing through that. So that's the reason why. And separated shoulder don't just go away in 1 to 2 weeks. And especially like if you're catching the ball and somebody keep on hitting you, you're hitting you in your shoulder, you going down to the ground. Look, I know we have our problems with Traquan Smith, justifiably so. But when you know that you're dealing with a separated shoulder and you still trying to go out and lunge out for a ball, and you know you about to fall on that shoulder and there's a strong chance you can re-aggravate that injury, I think you got to give that dude some credit, man. You got to give that dude some credit for going out there and trying to make that play. So I know we talk about Traquan Smith quite a bit, but I got to give him credit for that. TJ, is there a power back out there like you like? I mean, is there a power back out there you like? Man, I honestly haven't really looked at any of the power backs that I have out there, but I mean, like I said, I'll probably look at a few. I mean, I've been so dialed in, what this team was actually, trying to do. And also, man, just all the stuff that just been going on with the team, over the last couple of weeks. It's like, man, my goodness, like I didn't kind of dialed out of watching football for, when these boys been playing, trying to go outside, hang out with Paxton or something. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure like I have a list, as we get closer to that time when guys start to declare, because it's kind of hard, right? Because you might see a guy and you might think that he's going to enter the draft and he won't. So, I kind of try to wait for those things to happen. I try to wait for those things to happen. All right, excuse me. Yeah, I just kind of wait for those things to happen before I really just start to take a look at what's available. Needs to use Hill, Kamara, Olave, and Shaheed as the focus of our offense. Barbara, I'm gonna tell you this. Now, shouts out to Deuce McAllister. I was watching him and the voice of the Saints, Mike Hoss. Well, I'm gonna try to get on the show this week. But I was watching them, and he was talking about how, we talk about how Rashid Shaheed, was on that jet sweep last Sunday with Cincinnati. He scores. Then all of a sudden, like, he catches that deep pass on Thursday. And we was like, well, he didn't come back into the game. Why? Why didn't he come back into the game? And the thing about it is they probably dialed up one play for him. And, like they was on a short week. So it wasn't like they can just look at, okay, man, he did this. Let's come up with a package for him. Now, okay, that's fine. But if they don't do that this week, after you've been you have like a little bit of a mini buy for 10 days, and you can't come up with a couple plays for that dude and try to scheme him open, I'm going to think something wrong with you. Like, serious, I'm going to think something wrong with you. Okay, it was a short week. You can't really scheme and get too many plays for him. Okay, you ain't have many packages for him. Fair. That's fair enough. But if you go 10 days, right? If you go 10 days and you don't come up with some type of game plan for like Taysom to be in a game more in certain situations, for Shaheed to be in a game more in certain situations, it make absolutely no sense. And I think somebody told me this is the reason why, I just want people to really go by their feelings and not just try to counteract something that I say. Because one guy said to me, he says, well, when Sean Payton was here, Taysom wasn't in the game late. What? Like, what the hell have you been watching, dude? Okay, who remembers that Monday night? Who remembers that Monday night football game versus the Los Angeles Chargers? The game where the Saints won in overtime? Do y'all remember? Drew Brees was cooking on that last drive. The Saints were down, and they were cooking, right? Drew Brees, I think he went like 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 on that drive. And then what happened when they got in the red zone? Sean Payton called in Taysom Hill to run a QB power up the middle for the touchdown. So how many times have we seen Sean Payton, Drew Brees cooking 6 for 6, 7 for 7, and he takes Drew Brees out the game to put in Taysom Hill. How many times have we seen the Saints be down in a game and Sean Payton still put in Taysom Hill? I just think that people just, like I said, you cannot just want to just counteract and just want to just go against what somebody's saying without you even listening. Taysom Hill should be more heavily involved in his offense. Seriously. You should, and then on top of that, it's something that I can't accept. Is because the dude is a tight end. So why, when you have a tight end in the game, when the game is on the line, and also he's a great offensive weapon, it makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't. It does not make sense. I ain't never seen, like, if the Saints are down and they need a play, I ain't never seen Sean Payton like just completely have Taysom Hill on the sidelines for an extended amount of time. The only time like Sean Payton would do that if they don't have a backup quarterback or something like that, and Taysom is serving as the backup quarterback, then he would limit his snap count because he may need him if a guy like Teddy Bridgewater was to go down, or if Jameis was to go down or something like that. That's the only time. But I ain't never seen Sean Payton just pull Taysom Hill to a point where it just get extremely awkward. If you don't see Taysom Hill in the second half, it's probably because he didn't play at all. So that for me, that makes absolutely no sense. You'll go get off my boy Traquan. He's been holding his own, you haters. Let's see. Let's go, Traquan. Keep making these haters sick. Yeah, I said it. Who that? Yeah, keeping it real. Look, anybody that play the game, anybody that ever like hurt their shoulder or something like that, this dude, for him to lunge out and catch that pass, and him knowing that he had a separated shoulder, him knowing he can re-aggravate that injury, and he still goes down and he dives and make that catch, he gives my respect. Like it's stuff like that. Like we like see some of our deal breakers did he catch it or didn't he catch it? But I don't think we look at like some of these dudes' injuries and we realize like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a tough SOB being out there. I think some of that stuff got to be taken into consideration. I mean, for that dude to dive on the ground when you separated your shoulder, and he knew it, like he know he couldn't brace for impact. So that, I mean, for him to be able to leave that lasting impression in the game, he gets my respect. I know people have their reservation about Traquan, but that's pretty doggone tough right there. Traquan stats haters are as follows: targets 19 receptions, 14, 235 yards, 1 touchdown. Not bad for a fourth or fifth receiver. These haters. All right, folks. I'm gonna take a few more down. I have to get up out of here. Let's see. Hit that like button and subscribe to the SOTS. Yeah, I agree with that, man. If you like the show, like the content, please hit the like button. And Dwayne says, I don't care if it was a short week or not. You find a way to get the guy the ball. He scored both times his number was called. If he knows only 2 plays, keep those 2 plays until they stop it. Dwayne, that's a good point, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure the coaching staff don't think like that. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, but and even like I'm just saying that because I'm pretty sure that was their logic, right? Oh, it's a short week, you can't really scheme. We can't really come up with plays and stuff like that for this guy. Because I'm pretty sure what they would do is Dwayne, what they would do is they'd probably go back to his Weber State days and see some of the plays that he had when he was open. And they'll probably try to implement some of those plays. So they probably didn't have time because they were so focused on cut up, highlights of what the Arizona Cardinals were actually doing. But I definitely agree with you. But I'm just saying, I know from their standpoint, that's probably what they were thinking. Always appreciate the content, TJ. Well, thank you for being here. And while we're complaining about the DBs, let's remember they are known as the secondary because their second lines of D what the heck happened to our pass. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are wondering what happened. If the wide receivers caught the ball and attacked the ball and ran the right routes, we would have less interceptions. All the fumbles, eight, another story, and the penalties are killing us. Special teams is trash. Uh, I doubt. I kind of disagree with a couple of things, like special teams. Like special teams has started off being like struggling, but they've been much better over the last, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks. All right, they did come out the gate looking like kind of slow. I will say that, Ryan, but they have improved. The wide receivers catching the ball, I definitely agree with you on that one. That pass by Callaway that popped up in the air that went right in his hands, and it ended up being a pick six. Definitely need to catch that. There was a couple of passes, even with Chris Olave, he could have caught, but those were some there was some big hits that he was taking, and the safeties have jarred the ball away from him. So yeah, but you got to be able to make those tough catches. You got to be able to sustain those drives. But um, I don't know. It's just a lot of things going on. Even the star players, the star players have been an issue too. Like, I mean, I'm happy Will Lutz got himself together, but he was struggling in the kicking game. Davenport ain't really getting home with the sacks. The last couple of weeks, before Lattimore got hurt, he was struggling. You had Alvin Kamara fumbling the football against the Carolina Panthers. Mark Ingram seems like, he done got better at holding on to the football, which is good, but had some crucial fumbles at the beginning of the season. So it's guys that we count on to make plays. And they are the ones that's prohibiting the Saints from being successful as well. So, we have to look at this thing as a whole. We got to look at this thing as a whole. Did you hear the rumor of Landry being traded to the Packers? No, I did not. I did not hear about that. And if that did happen, then we'll see. Let me see if I can actually come up with that. Let me see if I can actually see that, or if it's just a plain rumor right now. Yeah, but for those that just coming in, apparently they're saying some stuff about Jarvis Landry. Let's see what this actually says. I'm really ain't seeing anything right now. So hopefully that's not the case. TJ, before you go, brother, how in the hell you give team a 3-day weekend? I have no idea. I don't know, because he's Dennis Allen. That's the only logical explanation I have. I think out of D is struggling because defensive players have too many voices in their ear, and DA is spread too thin. I agree. You might have to give that play calling responsibilities over to Ryan Nielsen or Chris Richard, one or the other, and just kind of facilitate the team. But I do want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate it. Once again, I apologize I wasn't on camera this episode. As y'all can see, I pretty much had my hand full with, telling Patrick no for snack cakes, him coming in here with his tablet. So, but I do appreciate you all for being here. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the likes. If you have not, hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscription button. Also, previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And also, you can check me out if you want to follow me on Twitter. You can follow me at TJAY Jones 8. Until next time, all I got to say is,